engine is our um, revenue engine, which is sales and marketing, but I specifically focus on lifetime value. People who come to me, they know how to sell and market. If you're making money in business, tell somebody about your product, make people aware about it, ask them for money in exchange for the offer and the product. That part most people understand. But how can we maximize that and turn that into a bigger deal? I always say deals over sales. I want to focus on.
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and the wisdom of how they sold their first million.
How would you like to make your first million? Today we have Louis Hunton join us from Scotland. Scotland, yeah. More people from United Kingdom. As you know, I'm based in London, and we want more people from United Kingdom join the podcast. Most of the entrepreneurs are from United States. We love also entrepreneurs from United States. So Louis Hunton is a creator of 4 Engines framework and co-author on the operator trap, the methodology and book behind scaling past founder dependency. In business since 15, wow. He built, scale, and exit multiple companies across sector, launched 100 plus hours on a stage, including Red Bull Racing, UK headquarters, and Ferrari. And he now teaches established owners how to stop being bottleneck and run the business like an owner. So, Luis, tell us, what are the 5 steps that you recommend entrepreneurs in order to get the first million?
Absolutely. Thank you for the wonderful introduction there, Harry. I'll be able to dive straight in and touch on the 4 engines framework that we teach, which covers the first 4. Well, a lot of people are stuck in that operator mode, and that I always find that operator mode starts to really hit when you hit that first 6 figures. And then scaling that into your first million, you need to be a lot more intentional. So we cover 4 key areas for bringing that. And the first area that is the authority engine. That's being able to speak and communicate. We're doing it now. We're both speakers. We have a love for that. So we have a bias towards speaking for sure. But speaking doesn't always necessarily mean being on stage. Being able to communicate, whether it's a sales call, a networking event, collaborating with people, you need to be able to communicate clearly and effectively. So that's my first step is nailing that communication. And that alone steps up your authority. Then we talk about visibility. So that's your branding, your marketing, getting your message out there. A lot of people think branding, they think colors and logos. But more to that, and I would nods to Harry here, because the first thing I noticed was his phenomenal branding in the background. He's got, Tony Robbins here. He's got Ken.
Thank you.
He's got, these amazing things. And what that does is it makes you more visible, because if you've got a picture with Tony Robbins all there, because that was the first one I saw, you're not going to be a nobody and have a picture of Tony Robbins. There's a reason why you have that picture. So it elevates your brand by proxy of being around these people. So we think about visibility of who we can collaborate, whether it's influencers, whether that's celebrities, whether it's other people in business. Then our third engine is our revenue engine, which is sales and marketing, but I specifically focus on lifetime value. People who come to me, they know how to sell and market. If you're making money in business, tell somebody about your product, make people aware about it, ask them for money in exchange for the offer and the product. That part most people understand. But how can we maximize that and turn that into a bigger deal? I always say deals over sales. I want to focus on how can we do a deal together, not me coming on and twisting your arm and trying to make a sale. So I'm always thinking building long-term relationships so I can maximize the amount of revenue that we can both make. And then finally, it's our scale engine, which is systems, and most notably these days, AI. So what is a business by definition? It is a vehicle that produces value in exchange for money. So in order for that to be a vehicle, it needs to be able to run, and that is systems. You put things in place that when this happens, you do that. If you have a brand that says we do it this way, you have a system that follows that. And now with AI, how do we incorporate that? So that's my 4 steps that we incorporate. Now, and some of that could sound complicated, but can kind of go into a little bit. And then number 5, which beats all of them, It's relationships. If any one thing that I can tell you to focus on in making money, and especially getting to your first million, is relationships. I always accredit the secret to my success as being strategic partnerships, forming relationships with people, doing deals with people, finding out how we can bring value to each other. Somebody once asked me many, many years ago, early in my coaching, it was a very vague question, but I gave a vague answer, and I stand by this answer. They asked me, "How do I become a millionaire?" And I said, "Make someone else a millionaire first." And it's that principle. You need to provide more value to other people, and you will then make by proxy. So that's my 5 steps to your first million.
Oh wow, I love them. And let's dive in starting from the first one, because you
Let's
said
do it.
speaking. Look at this, speakers and leaders. This is the organization that we run all over the world. So, and it's very important because Luis, I want to know your take after exiting so many businesses. Okay, in the way that we do business today. I remember when I started my first business in London, it was a rent to rent. It was a property business. We used to rent the property and rent the units individually. Yeah, and then we sold 5 million doing this. But the whole point is that when I was a first time founder, I was like, my product is the best. I had to make my product better. How can I make my product better? And I'm just in love with the product, and I'm thinking if the product is good, people will buy it. Now we notice, Luis, that second time founders, now they think different. They think more exactly some of the point that you were touching now in your 5 step. They think, okay, marketing and sales is actually, when you're starting up, even more important than the product, because even if you have a bad product, if you know how to marketing and to sell it, you will make 1 million, right?
Yes.
That the issue is you're gonna have repeating customer, because if your product is not good, you're not gonna have repeating customers, and the product have to do. But if you kind of know the marketing and sales strategy, and your product, is something that the people need, you will sell it, and then you will improve the product. So second time founder, we notice that they are more interested in, okay, this is a product, but let me put a lot of time and energy in marketing and sales study. How can I produce food for people? And actually, to make the first million, we always share in this podcast that is a marketing and sales exercise more than anything else, right? Now, we found, Luis, that the third time founders, they are looking one level up. They are looking, build the community first. Number two, design the marketing and sales strategy. And then with that marketing and sales strategy, you can even ask to that community what product do they want, how much they want to pay for, and so on. And then you design the product based on the feedback of the community. So after so many years of experience, Luis, tell us about your journey, because it's not the same way that you think when you exit the first company, that, by the way, is amazing, and you have done it several times. I applaud you and I congratulate you. Very few entrepreneurs out of the 500 millionaires we interview here, a lot of them exit companies. No, a lot of them have exit several companies, right? So through your journey as a first-time founder, second-time founder, and third-time founder, or involved in partnerships. So what would be your transition and your mindset as you grow, as you scale? Tell us a little bit more about this.
That's an awesome question, and I love that. And the whole journey you went on there that you explained, it's bang on, and it's exactly elements I went through. One of the thoughts that came to mind when you're talking about the second time founders focused more on that market, and I always say people don't reward the best product in the market; they reward the most visible. And that's it. I've got a line for the listeners. If I guarantee that there is somebody out there who is not as good as you is making more money than you because they're more visible. And that's most people's stage when they're getting to their first million. It's that they're not visible enough. I totally agree. When you start getting into second time round, third time round, the R starts thinking different. I think absolutely. I don't think I can say it better than how you just did. I was the same. in the beginning, we're constantly hustling, trying to, you shared that you started in rent to rent. I also started in that space as well. And it was constantly hustling, trying to make the product and get good. And then we execute that. Second time around, we're focusing way more on marketing. We're like, how can we acquire? And third time around, even from acquiring point of view, I don't think how can I acquire customers. I'm thinking how can I acquire businesses? Because if I have a great system in place, I can take somebody else's business, take their leads, pay them what they need to acquire that, and I just simply plug in my system. And that's the competitive advantage you start to have with experience and as you get bigger. So I definitely found that. And you touched on mindset. That has been the biggest thing that's changed for me the most is going through that mindset. But now I'm constantly focusing on how I can have conversations and collaborate with people, whereas before I was just constantly thinking, where's the next sale coming in? And somebody asked me, it was on my show, they asked me, how much time should I be focusing on sales versus deals? And it was a great question because it's not a simple answer. It's getting that balance because people are like, I need to be able to pay the bills, but long term, doing deals and building enterprise value because cash flow gets taxed at the highest rate. So cash flow is great, but the big money's in the enterprise value when we start leveling up there. Um, where 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 else do I want to go with that? Oh my God, you touched on so much that I'm
So
like going so many
let's
directions there.
let's talk back into the visibility and relationship. And I want to share with you, Lewis. I have a cousin, which is an artist. He's a painter. Okay, so he does great job. Now I can guarantee you. I mean, if you hear about this, he's gonna kill me. But I can tell you that he's not the best artist in the world, right? However, um, he's always in the right meetings. He goes a lot to gala dinners, and we always making a mock with him, like, "Oh, that's your work. You go to parties all the time," and he always telling us, "Hey, Harry, the rest of the people are partying. I'm working. I'm going there because this is where the relationships are built, and the people that buy my pieces, 50,000, 100,000, whatever." Um, Even the family of Dom Perignon, the champagne, buy art from him. So am I. So, but the whole point is that visibility and that strategic partnership, right? Is the key to unlock your success in business because we get Louis sometimes trapped in the perfection, especially at the beginning. My product has to be perfect. And after we realize that the more visibility and the more relationships and strategic partners you have out there, the more your business are gonna grow. Now, because Luis, we teach a lot about public speaking and overcoming the fear of public speaking, which is the biggest fear that a human being can have, right? And the reason is very simple. Because when you're a kid, your parents are telling you, don't talk to strangers, don't talk to strangers. So now you're in business, all you have to do all the time is talk to
Yeah.
strangers. So do you ever fear a fear of public speaking, a fear of going out there, and how you overcome that because you knew that was important for your business. You knew that having visibility and having that communication skill, you knew that your business is gonna look completely different. You developed this skill, but that fear was there. I saw that you have spoken in big stages. When the first time I spoke in front of 2,000 people, I was shaking. And I did a lot of talks before, for front of 100 people, 200 people. And then one day, I go in front the 2,000 people. Actually, that day that I spoke, also Tony Robbins spoke at that event. And I go there, and I'm used to speak to 100 people, 300 people, and I see the faces of everybody, all my friends there. I go in front of the 2,000 people stage, and I cannot find anybody. I have all the lights in front of me. I don't see anybody. Everything is dark. I only see a red dot in the back, which is the camera, and I knew somehow that I had to speak with that red dot. I'm all of the sudden, Louis, I'm freaking out. My microphone is shaking. My face is on a huge screen. All I'm thinking is, this camera with this resolution, they're going to notice that I'm shaking here. So how you become that fear, how you how you became a speaker and overcome that fear. And you didn't do it for you, you did it for your business, right?
Yeah, it was even when me falling into some of the speaking was, I almost think I was maybe an accidental speaker. I actually went to a training event with one of my ex-girlfriends, and she was like, "Oh, you'll love this guy. He thinks like you know, the way he's doing business, he's great." And he was a phenomenal speaker. And what I didn't know was this training actually involved speaker training. And so I had to actually go on stage and present. And for
Oh,
anyone,
wow. Out of the blue like this?
yeah, yeah. And I threw up 3 times before going on stage. And my girlfriend at the time can vouch for this because she kissed me afterwards and then was like, "Oh, you weren't kidding." I was like, "No, I was serious. I threw up." So I had this huge fear. A lot of people think, "Oh, you know, you're a natural born speaker." No, I trained this. I'm an introvert. I genuinely, you know, I I choose by default, my default mode network is not to speak to people. I had to learn and do this for the business, for the impact. You know, I love helping people. I do coaching. I speak to have impact. I speak for business. And what I can say is it's the number one skill that has helped me more than anything. It's made me better articulate in sales calls, in collaboration calls, and speaking with people at networking events. The skills that I've took from that carried over everywhere in business. As a leader in my business, as people don't think about being a speaker when they're like you've said, speakers are leaders. And I'm going to flip that around and say leaders are speakers because you need to lead your team. You need to speak and present to your team. And if your
Mhm.
team are not on board with what you're doing, you're going to have disconnect. So you need to be able to communicate that. But genuinely terrified for me coming
Yeah,
into it. I then
I agree
discovered
with
that
you.
I loved it, and I redid that training 3 times. So I got
Yeah.
good at it. I've practiced it, and I practiced on little stages. I spoke in front of 5 people and got in the reps, and
Me
you know,
too.
speaking on camera. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
people when either want to jump to the top and do too much, or they're too terrified to start. But the truth is in the middle. We start small
Yeah,
and build up.
it's a skill. It's like driving a
Yeah.
car or swimming. The more you practice, the better you become, right? I remember my first gig in Singapore. We were doing the speakers and leaders in Singapore, and a lot of people from London say, "Harry, we're gonna go to Singapore and we're gonna support you." And it was like a lot of people on the plane from UK going to my first workshop in Singapore. When we arrived, there were more people from the team than actually the people that show up.
That's brilliant.
You want more team
I've had
people
an
than
event like
actually
that before too.
yeah, yeah. So you start small, and the more you practice, the better you become. It's a skill. It's like driving a car. You know, you
Exactly it,
practice
yeah.
and practice. Or swimming. Even if I give you a book and I tell you, okay, go and swim, it's a
Yeah.
skill base. The good
Yeah.
thing about skill base, the good thing about skill base that anybody can do it. The more you practice, the better you become. It's everybody. So everybody, I'm gonna ask you this. Everybody, Luis, do you think that can be an entrepreneur? We also think that entrepreneur is a skill. The more you practice, the better you become.
Yes.
But I want to hear your take. And also, one thing that we want to point out to our listeners, because our listeners are all entrepreneurs, people that want to start business, people that want to move from corporate to entrepreneurship, and then a small business, medium business, and large business owners. These are the people that hear this podcast. And what we want to have clear for everyone, even that my company is speakers and leaders, Luis, I'm entrepreneur first and a speaker second. We are speaking because we are in business. And a lot of people see, because maybe they see you in this podcast and they see you speaking and they see your visibility. Oh, Luis, this is, he just like to speak. It's not about business. And it's the other way. The problem is what I'm telling you. The way the business is today, if you don't have that visibility and that exposure and everything, it it's tough to grow the business. So, but tell us your take. If anybody can be a good entrepreneur, anybody can be a millionaire entrepreneur. What are the good, the bad, and the ugly?
Yeah, I mean, you touched on
Tell us.
skills there, and I'm so big on that. I'm all in on skills because I always, you know, I've had a lot of people over the years asking me about where should I invest, and I always say skills first. A house can burn down, a stock market can crash, a business can fail, but you can't unlearn a skill unless you get dementia. But at that point, maybe we have different problems to think about. But your skills is the number one thing that will always pay you the most. And I invest heavily in my education. And I love what you said there as well. We're entrepreneurs first. I'm actually I'm vice president of the Professional Speaking Association in Edinburgh, and one of the things I see around the Professional Speaking
Oh,
Association is
wow.
a
Wow.
lot of people, a lot of people, they're speaking first, and these are the people that are they're not making money, they're not having impact because they're maybe great speakers, but they don't have the business vehicle around it. Because at the end of the day, it's a skill and it's a vehicle. You need to know how to build that. And I honestly I see a lot of people shy away from that idea of money. But the truth is, money is a man-made thing that is for the utility. We need that money to exist. Money only exists when it flows. If it's not flowing, whether it's into you and then you invest elsewhere and into the economy needs to run with money flowing. So if anybody's feeling unsure about being paid or here's a big mindset about speaking for me, a lot of these professional speakers want to be paid to speak, whereas a lot of the time I'll speak for free because my back end is strong. I want to be able to generate leads if I'm at the event. If they're going to tell me that I'm not allowed to generate leads, okay, you're going to have to pay my fee. But if I can in some way attract leads from this event and promote what I'm doing, that's more valuable than a speaker fee to me because I've calculated my lifetime value. I know how much I can make on back end. I could do a deal with one person in that room and that can be worth 10 times, 100 times my speaker fee. So people don't think that way. They think I need to be paid for my time. And that's that disconnect between an employee mindset
Mm,
versus a business owner. We think, how
100%.
can I create something? Entrepreneurs are creators. We go, I want to create something, not I need to be rewarded for my time.
Now, building a business to exit. Um, that's another thing, Louis, that when I built my rent-to-rent business at the beginning, I'm going to the office. I'm the boss here. Everybody had to do what I say. I have a big ego. Let's point this out. We all have ego, otherwise we won't be entrepreneurs. We think that we can do better. However, at the beginning, first-time founder, like I didn't have any clue about anything. I made this business about me, about that persona, who I am. Everybody had to do what I say. I'm the big deal here. I'm walking into the office like that. I'm exhausted. I'm so tired.
Yeah.
All of the clients want to speak with me. We have like, back in the day around 177 clients, and they want to speak with me because if they want to bring a friend, if they want to bring the parents, they knew that there was someone in the company that said Harry that can authorize that. And they don't care if it was 4 a.m. They will say, we'll wait for you, Harry. If it's 4 a.m. when you have time, at 4 a.m. I call you. I need to speak to you. So now I have all the clients want to speak with me, and all the team had to run everything with me, through me. And Luis, don't get me wrong, I'm making money and I'm so tired. I'm so angry. I'm so exhausted. I cannot even, I'm waking up with the laptop in my lap and going through everything. I didn't even have time to eat. So I'm waking up and working. And when it's 11 p.m., I live by Canary Wharf in London. It was a Chinese restaurant, Indian restaurant, right? And I remember that was the process. I called them and I didn't have a strength to tell them what I want to eat. So they will do the next number. You know that the menu's got number 44, 45. So they knew, okay, Harry today, last time ordered 44. Next time, tell him 45. It doesn't matter if it's fish, it doesn't matter if vegetable, it doesn't happen if it's fried. Whatever next in the menu, send it to him. So, which is, lead to overweight and lead to, but I have to have time. I had to work, go through everything first, and then eating in the evening. So it's very unhealthy. And I'm doing all wrong, and on top of that, I'm exhausted. I'm tired. And yes, there is the money coming to my account. So out of survival, I say, okay, what if I'm thinking I need to do something about this because these people are gonna kill me. They're not gonna let me sleep. I'm tired. So I told my manager Eva, which I was, and I said, Eva, from now on, you're gonna be Harry. So what do you mean? Yes. So everybody wants to speak with me, will speak with you. And whatever you decide is fine. Don't even tell me. I don't want to know. I prefer to sleep. So, and then I went to the team and told them, okay, you know what? Whatever problem you have from now on, propose 3 solutions. Okay? You pick the favorite. Doesn't matter. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And we'll put something else. And I'm thinking to myself, well, like this, I can sleep. So at that point, I didn't care that much about if it's going to work or more money. I'm thinking, how can I sleep? And kind of by accident, Luis, I developed leadership into the company. They start to embrace, to the point, one day I went to the office and Eva, my manager, told me, Harry, don't come here anymore. We don't need you here. Go home, travel the world if you want. We can build this company without you. Eva told me, this is because she was telling me, look, you come here to the office, we're talking to everybody. Clearly, you had nothing to do. Because at that point, everybody had the leadership skill. Everybody was proactive in the business. Everybody knew what to do. So now they kind of don't need me anymore. They need me only 1 minute. Harry, what I did work. Oh, wow. By the way, there is another problem. I had the 3 things. I already chose this one. I'm trying it work. So they were already in this mindset. And internally, they created a culture, or we created a culture in the company where the team, they want to prove me that they can run the whole thing better than me, right? That they can do it without me. So if I'm traveling, when I come back, they were so happy to show me, look, we did this, we make some that money without you. So the whole, they're trying to, we do this without you. So bottom line,
space to think. I was working with a client today, and he said, I've got this employee, they're not doing things right, they're not following, I'm constantly having to speak to them, and they constantly ask me questions. And I said to him, I was like, well, how quick do you reply? He was like, oh, straight away. I was like, you're teaching this employee that if there's a problem, just ask you, and you'll deliver it. So he doesn't need to think for himself. You're not giving him the space to think for himself, and I see that all the time. People, entrepreneurs, they go, I'm in charge, this is mine. And you said that ego element, and that tied really nicely in what you said earlier about the first time founder, second time and third time. Because let's be straight, we're delusional people. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you're a bit delusional.
I mean, we're 1% of the population. So 1 or 2% of the population. Exactly. Let's start from that,
And sometimes, having that ego, it's in the beginning, it's what drove you to be there, but then it can become problematic when you build teams, and I think that's something I've gone through as well with multiple times is the egos become less. I use the traits of I want to do well and I want to do great and I want to push forward. I keep those elements, but there's no I'm better than you. There's no I want to take care of this. I need to do it right. I could drop them and just focus on that. I'm going to take action and I'm going to move forward.
So Luis, but how are you doing build to exit? Because for me, it was kind of an accident. It was a trial and error. It was a survival mode. I didn't build my business to exit, or at least I didn't do it with that intention. It was a trial and error survival exercise. Now, with your experience,
what we do now is it needs to have an exit plan. Every deal now is.
Tell us. Can you expand a little bit more about this for our listeners? Okay, which is something different. It's not about building the business and you are the boss, you're the big deal. It feeds your ego. Otherwise, what you have is a job that feeds your ego. Business are built exactly what you shared, Luis, to build it to exit. It's like a kid. You need to let it go from the beginning. You know that it's going to leave home. So tell us, what advice do you have for entrepreneurs that at the moment they are stuck, they are working Monday to Sunday, restaurant owners, I see that a lot. They don't have time to speak with the family, with their friends. They're not happy. They are stuck. And I spoke with people that spend 20 years, 30 years doing that, and without realizing that they didn't create a business. They create a job to fill their ego. And if you
Yeah.
don't surrender that ego, it can absorb the whole thing. So
Yeah.
what advice do you have for people starting out, or for people that they are struggling now? That, because, don't get me wrong, my first 2 years of the rent, I was like this. I was stuck like
Yeah.
this. I was doing everything, wearing all the hats. And then I have my few team members, which, by the way, they were better than me, all of them, at everything. But at the beginning, I'm treating them like, you have to do what I say. I'm the big deal here. I'm the big boss. And yeah, they were doing the job. It was a lot of bad energy. It was a lot of, how can I explain to you, tension in the company all the time. I was tired. I was in bad mood. They are stressed out because I'm telling them, why you didn't do this? I'm micromanaging them, which is very exhausting. And
Yeah.
so what's the difference for our founders, or how they transition, right?
Yeah.
Can be because they can tell you, no, Luis, the problem is that my business is different. That's the other thing they always tell us.
Oh, I love that line.
You don't understand, my business is different.
I
So
run
what message do you have?
masterminds
What
and
message
bring
do you have
people
for
together.
entrepreneurs? Yeah.
I run masterminds and I bring people together, and every mastermind somebody comes in going, "My business is different." And I'm like, "We'll see about that." And by the end of it, they'll realize it's not. But I actually want to answer your question and for two different people, because the people who are maybe listening who are at the early stages, maybe they're starting, maybe they want to start, maybe they've got things going. A lot of times I feel people try to scale too soon. And I say, don't think about scaling now, because you being unscalable is your competitive advantage. So lean in on that, get the money and get the things in place, and then start building. Then when the people who are at that stage who are building and they have proper systems in place, definitely we need to have that exit plan in place. Now that can happen in many different ways, but in order for a business to be sellable, it needs to be making profit. And what a lot of people have sometimes a bad habit of is, I don't want to pay any tax, which means you drive their profits down to zero. Well, now you don't have a profitable business, so who's going to buy it? I've I had many people try to sell me businesses, and they're like, no, 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 but I'm taking cash though. I'm like, it's not in the books. I'm not interested. I'm
Yeah,
not taking
exactly.
your word, claiming there's this magical cash somewhere. It's not in your books. I can't pay you for it. So
It doesn't
it's
worth anything.
yeah,
It doesn't worth anything. And the other, Luis, people out there that selling businesses, and then when you ask the question, okay, if this happened, what happened? No, they need to talk to me. So how the sales go? Okay, it go through me. So how the operation goes? Everything goes through me. And then you are like, well, now I'm buying the business, I'm not buying you.
yeah. That's called key
So
man
is
risk. Yeah.
no, my cousin. I have a cousin. His name is Nestor. He was doing he live in York, okay, and he has uh, a a refurbishment business, yeah. And he come to see me once, and he's so proud. He coming to say, Harry, you're gonna be very proud of me. I said, really? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Look, I'm saying no to customers. So what do you mean? Yeah, yeah. I have so many clients that I have so many that they need to wait for me. I some of them I tell them, okay, no, or you wait. And I'm like, wow, and why they waiting? Well, the reason is that I have my team doing the job, and I'll do the job with my team. And the quality is so high. That's why we get those referrals and everything. And that's why clients are waiting for me. And he was waiting for me to tell him, wow, well done, you're amazing. And I told him, look, there is a fundamental problem with what you're doing. And he's like, a problem? What do you mean? It's a fundamental problem. I told him, every time that you go and work with your team to deliver this high quality, you're devaluing your business, because they cannot perform at that quality if you're not there. So, and number two, you never, ever, 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 ever say no to any clients. Who told
Yeah.
you this? That they have to wait. What could the most crazy thing?
I
Where do you
shivered when I heard that.
where do you read that? So, so the whole point is that, Luis, and sometimes entrepreneurs, they get involved and passionate about the business,
Yes.
okay? But the thing is that they turn this into a very high quality, like lifestyle business, okay,
Yeah.
that give you good income.
Yeah.
However, the
Which is
problem is
great
that
if
when
that's
you
your
wanna
goal,
is
but
yeah,
don't kid yourself. Yeah.
but when exactly, but when you're tired, when you're gonna retire, what's gonna happen?
Yep.
Then you see businesses that they're going for sale for so little because and they're good businesses with good database because of that, because the founder never prepared to exit.
Yes.
And now they have make it, they're going all, the children doesn't want the business because they want to do something else, they want to travel the world, they don't want it. And now they are stuck with their life work that they could make good money for it if they actually build into exit. But now those businesses are sold for very little, and it's a shame for the entrepreneurs because they work really hard. So, tell us a bit more about the transition, how you take a traditional business, which
Yes.
is not sellable at the moment, and how can you help founders to go this transition so they can actually exit
Mm.
and build the systems, what needs to be built in order to
Yeah.
that founder can exit and can get reward for all the years of work. Because we believe every entrepreneur should be healthy, wealthy, and happy, right? We are very
Love that.
little. We need to support each other. And it's not fair, Luis, and I see that a lot, that a lot of entrepreneurs, after they have the life work, they need to exit for very little money because they didn't build to exit. So what's your take on this?
I definitely agree with that, and that leads into my fourth engine. A lot of people, when they think scaling a business, they think pump up the sales and marketing. And I'm like, that's no good if your business can't handle it. That's not scaling a business. And it's all about those systems. At the end of the day, somebody is buying a system. That's what you're buying when somebody buys a business. So if you're running it, you don't have a system in place. You are the key man risk. If it's tied to your personal brand and all the leads are coming in, you don't have a marketing funnel. Everybody romanticizes the word organic. That's great if it's fruit and vegetable, but if all your lead flow is your organic social media, then you're again you're then back to key man risk, and I can't buy your brand. So
no, they change the algorithm. They change the algorithm, and you can have a lot of
yeah,
organic leads
it's gone
today,
overnight. Yeah,
and tomorrow they change the algorithm, and you go to zero.
it-
The organic
absolutely.
thing is like I said, very good for fruit and vegetables, but
Yeah,
you have to be
and
very careful
And
when
that's
it
why you see
comes.
a lot of big business owners who own multiple companies. They won't tell you about their companies because they don't want it linked to their personal brand because that can affect the sale of the business. You see big players, Alex Hormozy, Tony Robbins, JT Fox, they all own, you know, and somebody, I think Tony Robbins has over 100 companies, 113 maybe, and he's not going to tell you what they
Mhm.
all are because he's a massive personal brand. People will then go
Yeah.
buy, drive up the valuation, and now he's you can't. It is sellable, but it's much harder, and you're getting a lower valuation on it. So I'm very big on get these systems in place. So I mentioned the four engines framework, and I run these through masterminds, and I coach people on these. Step five after that is we're looking at mergers and acquisitions. So either we're going to continue scaling your company by buying other people in, so that we can scale the enterprise value of your company more to get a bigger exit, or we get the systems in place so you can exit.
Luis, if somebody is in love with this conversation, how people can find you, how this process works?
Absolutely. The easiest place would be get me on Instagram. I'm lewis.hunter13. I have a live show. If somebody wants to come in and speak to me and get advice on their business, I take people on my live coaching show every Thursday. So you can apply at reckoning.lewis-hunter.com. I can apply to come on. I'll get you on, and I'll give you 15 to 30 minutes where I'm going to coach you exclusively on your business. And if you're more of a LinkedIn person, obviously speakers tend to be on LinkedIn. I'm also on LinkedIn. It's Lewis Hunter 13
How
as
about the
well.
mastermind? If they want to join your mastermind, how they do?
Absolutely. You can find out more information about the mastermind through my website as well. And these are my baby. This is something that is linked to my personal brand because I do this because I genuinely love helping people. We get people in. It's a room of typically 15 people. We come together. We focus on one of the core four areas, and the idea is we're focusing on deals. people are coming in and they're doing deals with other people in the room. So we're all making more money and we're all growing together. And that pipelines into some of the deals I do in the background. So people can invest into my deals. I might partner with you. I love partnering with my client. I've got a client right now. I'm flying to Thailand with him to partner with him on a deal. So it's great. And this all comes
Wow.
from relationships. It's strategic partners. He's went, I've got this deal, this opportunity. Is there a way that you can come in and help me with it? I'm like, yeah, I can come do it. And we find a way to make it work. That's why I
That's
love
fantastic.
business. You're a property guy. You'll know this one very well. In property, there's the rules, the laws, the regulations. It has to be done this way. The bank says the lending has to be this way. In business, as long as we agree, it's done. We can be so much more creative, and I love that.
100%. And then,
Yeah.
Luis, now that we know, and also that we know, and a lot of people listen this podcast, they want to do the transition between corporate to start their own business, and they want to start their own business. And let me tell you something: it's easier to buy one already working.
Yeah, I'm very big on buying. I'm actually working with a client today on buying a business.
Come on,
You know?
it's easy. Of course, if you have a mentor, you
Yeah.
have a coach. You need to have a mentor, a coach, someone that support you because you don't have that business experience. But you see, going to the 0 to 1 million in your own business is a traumatic experience.
Oh, yes.
We are recovering from this, yeah.
Many years yet.
Yeah. It will take you a lot of years of recovery.
Yeah.
So
And therapy.
this is very intense. Of course, with the help of coaches and everything. Don't do
Yes,
it alone. I mean, if you do it alone, like
100%.
I did, like we did, then
Yeah.
it's a traumatic experience. If you do it with a coach and a mentor, of course, you're gonna have a wonderful
I'm so big on partnership.
journey.
I don't want to do
Journey
these things
exactly
alone.
with the partnerships,
Yeah.
yeah. But the other thing that you should be looking that make a lot of sense is right. That business that you want to do, or that you wanted to do, well, check if something is for sale
Absolutely.
that is
And on that note,
affordable,
some
and
people
then
don't
you
know that
scale
they
that
sell.
up. I mean, but the other part, Lewis, we say that for us it's easy because we already build and scale businesses. I think that people that don't have been through this journey could be a
I've got a
challenge,
great
right?
point on that that I think you can
Yeah, go
probably
for it.
resonate.
Tell us.
I think it's that same fear of speaking. Because once you know, it's that terrifying idea, oh, easy for you, you've been on stage, easy for you, you've built businesses. It's that fear of that unknown. But when you go in and do it, you start to realize, I
Exactly.
can do this. And you just learn the skills.
Exactly. With the right help, you guys will be fine. It's all about the miniature risk as much as possible. And to get to the 0 to 1, it's a marketing and sales
Yeah.
exercise, very tough. And
I have a
uh,
saying on my show that
go.
that I love to say is there's no such thing as a stupid question, only stupid ideas that come from not asking the stupid question. So
Mm,
ask somebody. If you have an idea, talk it out to people,
yeah.
and that will save you making a bad decision.
The other day I was listening to a TED talk and somebody saying all all startups are stupid ideas. And I'm like, wow, that is a little bit strong. However, it has some kind of the point, like, when you have an startup, is not, especially when people come to me and tell me, Harry, I have this business, amazing. It's so unique, nobody's doing it. Nobody's doing this. And I'm thinking, well, if nobody's doing this, maybe there is no market for it.
Exactly.
That's the first thing
Everybody
that you
wants to
should be
invent
looking
something.
at. No, nobody's doing it, gonna become a billionaire. Well, this is a lottery ticket. You
Yeah,
can win that way by just a lottery.
yeah,
But you need to check with
yeah.
more perspective
That's
and
why I love boring businesses
and
because I want to make
exactly
money,
boring.
not innovate and
Mhm.
change the world. I'll change the
Boring.
world by impacting people through speaking and coaching and
Mhm.
charity work. But my businesses, they're there to make money.
About the boring business, everybody wants the exciting business. I want to do a rocket.
Yeah.
I want to do this. I want to do this. Well, the exciting business, those that we call in boring business, guess what? There is a demand for it. People are paying for it. They've been there all there. Like the barber shop will always will be there. People need to cut their hair. It's gonna grow. It doesn't matter what happened with AI or things like this. So those traditional boring business are there is a problem, and if you offer the solution at a competitive price, you can scale and you can get more share of the market. And the other thing is like out of the 500 millionaires we interview in this podcast, no one had come to tell me, Harry, you know what? I invented this, I created this product exactly like this. And guess what? I became a multimillionaire. Everybody tell me, Harry, I created this startup, then I had to pivot and pivot and pivot and pivot and change until it finally works. So
I always say your first business is never your last. It never starts there. Some people like Jeff Bezos do that, but it's very rare.
Exactly. It's like a once in a, you know what I mean? Yeah, you have to change each. That's how it works. That's how the majority of us entrepreneurs works. And you know, you have your startup will be a process for you to develop the skill and learn the skills as an entrepreneur. And eventually you will make it work as you iterate and iterate your product, because you need to look not what you want, you need to look what the client want and what is willing to pay for it. And sometimes there is always a huge space distance between what do you think the problem you're solving and what are the problems that actually your clients want to pay for it.
So much with that. I'm so big on putting the market. Even when I released my book, I put out 2 design options and I put it out to my clients, my audience, like, which do you prefer? The one that I liked was massively outvoted by everybody else. Both me and my business partners liked one. Everybody else liked the different. And I jokingly went, that's crazy how everybody's wrong. But then that's where some people get stuck. The ego comes in, no, you're all wrong. And I'm right because I'm in charge of this. But at the end of the day, who's buying the product? The market. So it doesn't matter if you think it's amazing. It's what does the market.
Yeah. The other thing, I was watching like a documentary of the founder of Walmart.
Yeah.
And they told him, "Is your fault that all the small retail shop in United States disappear or reduce? You are the responsible for it. It's your fault." And he answered, "Well, it's not my fault. It's the market. The consumer preferred my solution and decided to go." So the point I'm trying to make is saying, well, if I don't do it, somebody else will do it. Yeah. Because it's the market who decide that solution fits them better, and they decide to go there rather than to go to the small local store. It was more convenient for them, right? So he said, don't blame me, blame the market, blame the people. They decided. His success is the reward of what the market wanted, right? Yeah. So at the end of the day, the consumer we decide, right?
Somebody said to me recently about unhealthy food. It's like, oh, it's everywhere. And I'm like, they should be healthier and we should have more healthy ones. I was like, yeah, we would if the market wanted it.
Mm-hmm.
People don't want that. Mm-hmm. Like some people, sure, but every person comes in. I've had many pitches with like, I'm going to start this healthy food brand. I'm like, you're not going to succeed because the market doesn't want it, or the market that does want it is not big enough.
It's too small.
Exactly. Like Korea, they're strict on beauty standards. You go there and everything's healthy because they have a strict way of living. So the market wants it.
Exactly.
So it's crazy.
So later by
and then they're out there saying it's ridiculous that we have these beauty standards and we should be allowed to eat unhealthy. You can't win.
Luis, thank you so much, man. I can speak with hours to you. I think you're brilliant. You're so young. You're full of energy. Keep helping people. This is the good, the most important thing. And keep speaking, right? Communicating. Even this podcast, I don't know anymore if I do it for the people or for myself. You know, I meet brilliant people like you. Now I don't know. I'm saying, I'm gonna have this podcast, and we're gonna help a lot of entrepreneurs to make the first million, and we're gonna give them a lot of blueprint and everything. So I started like this. Now every time that I have, today is my podcast day. I have podcast back to back today. And every time that this day comes, I'm so excited because I know I'm gonna meet amazing people like you. So I don't know anymore if I'm doing the podcast for them or for me.
Either way, you're doing something great.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And for all of you following the podcast, our next episode from the top of how brave entrepreneurs like Luis break the wall and achieve the first million. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.